Hi, I'm Jason Sterling. I'm a member of the EA Creator Network, and today, at long last, we are going to tour the Eternal Imperium theme park, my Victorian influenced and inspired theme park. 3 sections based on sort of Victorian books and concepts. 1 for adventure, 1 for fantasy, and 1 for the future, for like science fiction. We're going to start each tour, the tour of each section of the theme park, from the corresponding hotel that I built to go along with that section. So our first hotel will be Mysterious Island, the Mysterious Island Hotel, because the first section, of course, is Mysterious Island in the theme park. Mysterious Island was a book by Jules Verne, and that's where the name came from. He was a writer, of course, sort of a sci-fi writer back in the Victorian era. We're going to jump in here right off the bat. You can see right in front of us is the Mysterious Island Hotel. I'm going to kind of tilt this up here. We'll take a look at it from above. We'll go into build mode here. I'm going to turn the sun up a little bit. Try to make it as bright as we can. It's raining here right now. It always rains in Gibby Point. Forever, always it rains in Gibby Point. I never see a sunny day. I don't know why people want a vacation here, but they do. So this is as bright as it's going to get. We'll go down here and check out the hotel. It's a small hotel. It's a small resort. The idea being that this is sort of built on stilts in a lagoon at Mysterious Island, right? We've got a couple of standard bedrooms, a typical 2-person room, bedroom, bath, small seating area. We have our longhouse. Longhouse is kind of a word in Polynesia for a sort of central sort of place where everyone gathers. With our check-in desk, or sort of seating area, little outdoor area. The kitchen is if you should want to feed your Sims there, or using either adventure or weights, or just using your imagination when your Sims rent it. You could use this as a rental. Or if you use the Lot 51 hotel mod, Suite Life, it's by Lot 51. It's called Suite Life, SUITE. It works wonderfully for setting up a little restaurant within your resort, within your hotel. The only Sims that will come back here are your employees, the ones that are supposed to be back here cooking. They bring it out to your guests to eat and then clean up afterwards, right? So that's what that is there for. And then our last room, there's really only 3 rooms here, but the last room is 2 rooms that have just been connected as a sort of family suite. So you could take this bed out and, you know, put 2 kids here, or you could put 2 adults here and 2 adults here, and they can share this sort of space. That is Mysterious Island. It's pretty simple. Like I said, I've done a speed build of it, so there's a lot more to look at, a lot more pictures on that particular video. But that is where we're at right now. That's where we're starting. And we're going to take Grant over to the theme park, the Eternal Imperium. That's Grant right there, by the way. Okay, we have arrived with a lot of other people here to the theme park, the Eternal Imperium. Now, one of them's naked. That's great. This is a family theme park, but yeah, you go right ahead and do you. Strip them clothes on off. Welcome to The Sims, everybody. Now, I just brought Grant along. He was with his family back there, but we really just need him to go through this theme park since we're just kind of touring it. So I just brought him along. You'll notice they all spawned here at the gate at the entrance to the theme park. Normally they would spawn over here by this wall. But I did do a sort of custom spawn point. This is something, I have a video for this on my channel elsewhere, but it's pretty simple. You just use an elevator to any place that you shrink it down, cover it with something. In this case, I used a mailbox. Garbage can works really well as well. And then the Sims will spawn at the elevator. So no matter where you want them to spawn on the lot, you can set the elevator there, shrink it down, or leave it full size if you want. You can do that too. Shrink it down though, hide it in a bush, hide it in a mailbox, hide it wherever you want to hide it. and then the Sims will spawn there. Because I want them to spawn here at the entrance. Like this is the entrance to the theme park. And so that's where they are. Now, there's not very many people here right now. There may be some throughout the park. I also don't know what I have the settings in MC Command Center set for. I should have it set for 30 Sims to spawn on this slot, but I don't know. We'll see. What we're also going to see is we're going to see Grant. We're going to see him go from here on Main Street over to Mysterious Island. Now, Mysterious Island is really more of a peninsula because this section of the park does connect to Wonderland. So it's more of a peninsula, but it is there. That's where we're headed, right into this area here. There's a couple of great sort of secret things about Mysterious Island that tie into the rest of the theme park. We're going to see as we go through the park. One thing too, if you like this park, if you like the hotels, one or the other, both, or all four, there's 4 separate builds in this video. They're all available as of now on my gallery, and they'll be linked below in the description. So now we're going to have Grant come here. There are 2 ways to get to Mysterious Island. One is to go through a secret hallway through this bar, which is kind of like a dockside type of bar, and then either swim across or hop in the kayak and paddle to wherever you want to go. Or the drier way, come here and take a secret tunnel system over to the island. We're going to have Grant come over here, and we're going to have him go through the tunnel system. And in fact, we will see if we can't follow him here. Let's zoom in on him a little bit, past the naked guy. There we go. Got to get out here, get a good view of him. Walking along, this is Regent Street. This is kind of the main street, of course, into the theme park. The other 3 lands all branch off of Regent Street. And you access them all either from Regent Street or from each other through sort of like secret passageways or secret ways of getting there. You can see Grant here. He goes through a portal to get here to this secret hallway. Now, the portal is a standard Realm of Magic portal. There's an entrance portal and an exit portal. In this case, I've disguised them in a bookshelf on this side and a bookshelf on this side. So Mysterious Island by Jules Verne is a book, right? So that's why in order to get to Mysterious Island, you pass through a bookshelf. You pass through a bookshelf on each side because that's how you get there in real life, is through a book, by reading the book. So Grant has passed through our portals here to get right to where he's going. Along the way, you may have noticed there are 3 separate stalls from Realm of Magic. You can hire someone to man those stalls if you want. It costs like $100. Yeah, hire a vendor, $100. But if you want to kind of have your sim have the experience of buying a souvenir here at the park, then you could do that as a way of accomplishing that. There's a couple of other ways we'll see as we go through this tour that you can also do it, but that's one way. There's also numerous opportunities throughout the park where you can just make a souvenir for yourself, or for your sim. You can just make one for free. This place where he entered through is the Curiosity Shop. It's a sort of catch-all junk shop, antique sort of shop. You can notice there is lots of postcards from traveling around the world. There's a place here to have tea, or maybe is this tea or hot chocolate? Hot chocolate. There's a place here to have hot chocolate. I probably should put tea, but I put tea in so many places in this theme park because it's a Victorian theme park that I thought, hey, let's just do some tea here. Let's do something, or hot chocolate here. Let's do something a little bit different. There's also a costume chest here. So if you want your sim to change into something different, maybe he wants to do a little cosplaying while he's at the theme park, you can dig into the costume there, chest, trunk, pick something out. The dark hallway here is just that. It's just a hallway with some miscellaneous junk in it. Here in the bar, I'm going to have him come into the bar real quick just to kind of walk around it a little bit. It's just a standard bar. It's a place to hang out. There's a place to get a drink again. Here we have we can play the piano. We could hire someone to man the bar, maybe get something to eat. That guy's going to play a little chess. We can play chess, darts. There is a bathroom here before you set out. So this is the bathroom for this section of the theme park. And then one thing this is one of the special things about Mysterious Island, and it ties into the rest of the theme park, but most heavily is here. I do not want him swimming anywhere. Don't swim, Grant. Here in this closet, let's have him go in here. Here in this closet, I think he was headed to the kayak and going to kayak over to Wonderland. We have here in this closet, the storage closet, a message in a bottle. And messages in a bottle play a key component in Mysterious Island for the characters in Mysterious Island. So there are these messages very heavily placed throughout Mysterious Island, but actually throughout the entire theme park. You'll find these bottles scattered around. If you want to, you can't take them with you, right? Because the lot doesn't belong to your sim, but you can definitely read the messages in each of them. So you can, and I think I put all of them in here. I think so. In the theme park, I think every single one of them's in here, but you can kind of read the message or have your sim read the message for this particular bottle. And in this case, of course, it's just a joke about pirates, rawr, which is perfect, right? It's perfect for here at Mysterious Island, have a little joke about pirates. We are going to have Grant climb down the ladder here. He's going to head over to the island itself. Now, watch out, of course, there's a skull here, right? A little death may wait you at the bottom of this particular ladder. Go down quite a bit, actually, here to this hallway. There are two ways up once you get to the end of the hallway. As you can see here, one leads to this side of the ruins. One leads to this side of the ruins. We're going to go over here. We're going to go to this side of the ruins over here. So we're going to have him come up this way. There he goes. Speed him up a little bit. Hurry, Grant, run, run, run. We only have so much time here, and the tickets cost $150 a day, right? That's like the Disney World way. It's the Disney World way. We spent $150 each to get in here. We got to hurry. We've got to see it all. So he's going to come up here. Now, this is Mysterious Island. Mysterious Island has just a lot of things you can kind of do around it. We've got a bonfire. I brought Mr. Clean here from Enchanted by Nature. What's his name? I don't remember his name. That guy, the god, I don't know, whatever his name was. He really didn't do much, did he? But I thought he might be kind of fun to talk to. Also brought over the bows and arrows from Enchanted. Was it Enchanted? No. Adventure Awaits. Perfect place in this here in Adventure Island. You might want to learn to shoot some bows and arrows if you're trapped on a desert island somewhere, right? So that's what that's for. And then over here we have a little bit of a sort of Asian feel, as you trek through the adventure, you get to a more civilized place, a sort of Asian inspired world where there's a place you can eat. There's a hot pot here, so you can eat here for free. There are other places in the park you can eat at a cost. But here you can eat for free. There's also a tea set here in case you want to have some tea. And then within the temple itself, we've got an altar if you want to do that sort of devotion while you're here, right? If you want to do a little cosplay for devotions for this mysterious, exotic culture here in The Sims, right? On Mysterious Island. And then we also have a place that maybe you just want to sit and meditate. Believe me, when you're at Disney World, one thing you probably do need is a chance to sit down and meditate, right? Get yourself centered, feel good with yourself, just accept the fact you spent way too much money, and you're gonna fall back on looking at the pictures for a long time. Let's see here. Now, this is the last part of Mysterious Island. There's a little rabbit here, a little harbinger of what's to come, a little foreshadowing of Wonderland, which is based on Alice in Wonderland, hence the rabbit. He's running around. He's made his way over here to Mysterious Island. Again, there's a place to get something to drink, but there's also a place where you can make your first souvenir. That is this sort of paper crafting. So you can do some origami in this place in a couple of different areas around this pond. Also at this pond, you can fish or look for frogs. Now, I'm going to say real quick, I've had a little trouble getting them to look for frogs, and I've had a little trouble getting them to fish. We're going to try with Grant, see if he'll come over here and fish this time without me kind of walking him through it. But he's headed that way. He's headed that way. It's a good sign. Good sign, Grant. Okay, he's passing through the gate there from the temple complex, and he's going to go fishing. There we go. It is working just fine. I don't know what the thing is with the frogs exactly. We'll see. We'll see real quick if he'll look for frogs here. I don't know. I've had him do it before, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Let's take out fishing, and then we'll see. Oh, my God. And, of course, this time he's going to do it. This time he's actually going to do it. Okay, so see, it works. There you go. Ta-da, it works. I did have him try it. I don't remember, not that long ago, and it didn't work. He just shook his head like he couldn't figure out what to do. So anyway, okay. So you can fish here. You can also look for frogs here in this particular pond, the lily pads and some fountains. Look at those fish, they're jumping. But what the big thing for this particular part of the park is our portal. Each section of the park has a portal. The portals, to my way of thinking, act like a ride, right? It's a ride to take you to a different place, to a different area. And it started with New Atlantis, the steampunk world here, the steampunk section. And I had put in a portal there. And over time I got to thinking, I wonder, I know there's one I can use from Wonderland. And then I thought, if I'm going to do it in those two areas, I really need a third one. I really need one for Adventureland. And for the first time, had this game since, practically the start, I thought, hey, why don't I try placing a portal to Selva Dorada, to the temple zone right here? Can we use those in other worlds? I've never tried it before, but yeah, the answer is, spoiler alert, yes. We're going to travel to, without the dog, without the cat, without Hooper, to the temple complex, Selva Dorada. So this is kind of our ride. This is our action item that takes us to an entire another world. So this is kind of like the Harry Potter component of this theme park, where you slip away to Diagon Alley, or I don't know, take that castle roller coaster ride or something, or the train, this train that takes you from one part to another, has that virtual sort of component. That's kind of what this is. Oh, well, we went ahead and brought the dog and the cat and the baby anyway. Okay. That's fine. Let's put the baby. I guess he can hold him. We really don't need to put him down. If you don't have Jungle Adventure, it's an excellent game pack. You do have to have it naturally to get here for that to show up in the theme park. But it's a really excellent game pack. There's a great adventure to go through, sort of gameplay adventure. This is part of it. So if you want to go and explore the temple as part of your vacation at the theme park, or as just part of your vacation, or maybe you want to put one of these gates, I don't know, anywhere, your house. This is one way to come to Selva Dorada and actually not pay for it. You can just come for free. You don't have to book a vacation here. So that is that. We'll zoom out just a little bit here. You can kind of see the whole world, right? The whole world here. I love Selva Dorada, and I really loved this sort of temple adventure. I'll be honest, it's not quite as great as World Adventures from The Sims 3. It's not, but it is a lot of fun, and I do really enjoy it. I had a great time with it. Now, here's the only problem with this particular portal. We cannot, of course, use the portal to get back to the theme park, because it'll just take us to wherever the other portal where this needs out here in Selva Dorada. Although if you want to look around the rest of Selva Dorada, you can do that, or different parts of the maze. Also, we can't just use our phone to travel back to the theme park, because when we get in here, let's see, let me close all that down. Come on, Grant, get your phone out. Anyway, when we get to the point here where we can travel and choose our location, starting to come up now, thank you. All it gives us are these destinations. I don't know, can I go this way? Yeah, see, it's unavailable, while vacationing, our world map. So while we can go to different areas here in Selva Dorada, which is convenient. I mean, if you, like I said, if you want to go here for free and not pay, great way to do it. But we can't get back home. We can't get to our theme park that way. However, what we can do, of course, is we just click go home. And he's going to sweep up the little baby here, and off we go. We're headed to home. Our pets should come along with us, should come along with us. So we're all going to head back home. And then once we get home, we'll just go back to the theme park from there. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Wonderland Hotel, see it first. Then we're going to go back to the theme park and see Wonderland. Okay, now this is the Wonderland Hotel. It's still got the original lot name stuck on it right now, and it is set as a residential property, so we'll have to go through build mode in order to see it. But that's okay. We're going to go into build mode, and we'll take a quick look at it, and then we'll head on back to the theme park. Okay, now I wanted this obviously to have a fairy tale theme to it, a fairy tale feel. This is our Wonderland Hotel. It is, again, it's relatively small. Each of these were done relatively small. We only need a few rooms, really don't need a massive hotel. I built a massive hotel for Adventure Awaits, the Great Geyser Lodge. You can find that on the gallery. You can find a ton of videos about it on my channel. It's giant. It's massive. So if you want a really big hotel, stay there, right? Right here in Gibby Point as well. In this case, we've got a 4-bedroom sort of resort, right? And each of the rooms are the same, and they are suites. So we have a small bedroom for the parents. Out here in this room, normally would have 2 twin beds. Of course, I've replaced one of the twin beds with a toddler bed because my family is a kid and a toddler and 2 adults. I tried to give it a little bit of a magical sort of fairy tale vibe. These large tarot card posters, or the tarot card posters, I made them large, blew them up, right? Made them double size. I really love those. This has a real fairy tale theme to it. That looks like a fairy tale, right? Like you've got the princess here and she's rescuing this poor gnome, from this horrible lion attacking it. Also with the fireplace, I intersected the portal, one of the portals. Now it doesn't lead anywhere because there's just an entrance. There's not an exit here on the lot. So it doesn't really lead anywhere, but it's got this great sort of mystical, magical sort of effect that it puts over the mirror and over the fireplace. So if your Sim's looking into the mirror, it looks a little bit like Snow White, looking in, not Snow White. What did she? I don't know if she did or not, but her evil stepmother looking into that mirror, right? Saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, it has that sort of feel to it, that sort of vibe. I would love to have that in game if we got a mirror like that where you could look into it, ask stuff of it, and give you some snarky ass answers or something. Anyway, so that's what we got here at the hotel. And it's a pretty good sized room. We've got a nice seating area here. I think nice little seating area, nicely decorated. The bathroom is broken in half, so 2 people can use it at once. One for this area. One for this area. That's where the tub is. 2 sinks. And then we have our sort of main lobby area. This is a place to eat breakfast or eat anything. With the Sweet Life mod, of course, you can set menus for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just like Dine Out. I think it uses the Dine Out sort of user interface and that sort of mechanism in order to accomplish what it does. And so a family of 4 can sit here, have a nice breakfast together. This hotel doesn't lean too heavily into Alice in Wonderland, not as heavily as the theme park itself does. But we do have a white rabbit over here, and we have the Cheshire cat here on the floor. A little like he's just been hiding behind this curtain. And then we have a little dormouse, of course, here in the chair. Downstairs, there is a basement. It's mostly a spot for the staff to prepare food for the restaurant area upstairs. There's also a place for staff to rest and a staff restroom. The Mysterious Island Hotel. Now, when we were just looking at that, it does not have, did it? I don't think it has a restroom yet for the staff in the kitchen, but I'm putting one there. So I intended to do it, and I can't remember if I've done it yet. But there will be a staff restroom in the kitchen of that hotel. The mod works better if your staff has somewhere to go to the restroom. And in this case, in addition, they have someplace where they can rest. Back outside the hotel, of course, you can see a few other references, subtle references to Alice in Wonderland. We have, again, a cat. We have the rabbit. But they're in this little window decoration. It's like a little window box type of decoration onto the ground. I really like it there. Looks like you have a little sort of gnome or fairy living there at the front of the hotel. Kind of cute, right? Kind of cute. The other thing that really does kind of tie into the Alice in Wonderland adventures, and this ties in directly to the theme park, is this sort of mirrored back to this fireplace. The Alice in Wonderland sequel is called Through the Looking Glass. And in the sequel, she climbs onto the fireplace and then through the looking glass that's over the fireplace, which was a very common Victorian decor. They would put large mirrors, often built in to the surround of the fireplace. And they called them looking glasses. Maybe they still do in England. I don't know. But they called them looking glasses. And so that's how she got back to Wonderland the second time. So that is kind of our nod to the book as well. And then also to the theme park, which is where we're headed now. Okay, and here we are again, back to the Eternal Imperium, back to Regent Street, the main road through this particular theme park. The main road through our Victorian experience is called Regent Street. There is an actual road in London called Regent Street, which I think is something of a commercial road, a lot of retail and stuff on it. So I thought, let's put our Regent Street here as well. Right as you enter the park, there is a gift shop, a small gift shop. Now, most of this is, as you can imagine and as you can see, just kind of for show. Although there's a few things like the dormouse and stuff, the white rabbit, that would be like, like little plush or replicas you could take home with you from the different sections. Some skulls from Mysterious Island. All of those really aren't for sale because this is not a true retail area, but I did put in 2 vending machines here. Again, if your Sims want to actually buy a souvenir, they could buy one from the vending machine. If you don't want to hire a vendor for one of the stalls. So they could buy something from the vending machine. So that's kind of what that is about at that location. Now we're going to have Grant head down here. The entrance to Wonderland is through our conservatory. But before we get to our conservatory, we'll pass through a couple of other points of interest here. Here on our way, we pull everything out of the way, right? Here on our way to that area, we'll go up here. We're going to drop this all down. Now, what we can see here, now that we're above the street, if I can get this lined up. There we go. Now that we're above the street, we've got a little garden area here off to the side with a monumental statue to somebody. In here is a bakery. So you could hire someone to run this cart and you could go in here and buy baked goods, just like you could with the other stalls. So we've got like a little bakery set up here. This is just pretend. I did think it was kind of a cute idea that you would have like a window for the bakery on the park side. So instead of going into the structure, you could go to a walk-up window and buy stuff. It doesn't work. It's just for show. It's just for show. But it is kind of a cute idea. And it's the sort of thing you see at theme parks a lot is stuff like that. There's another small section of the park right over here. And then, of course, our conservatory. So it's a standard kind of conservatory setup. A lot of plants, a lot of fountains. There are butterflies scattered throughout the place. So it's a great place to come and watch butterflies. On one end, we just have kind of a caretaker's area, place to pretend to take care of plants, pretend to take care of, is this an actual table? Yeah, this is actually a flower arrangement table. So you could come in here and make a flower arrangement. So there is that. At the opposite end of the caretaker's area, we have a little bit of a seating area here, just kind of like a small parlor in our conservatory, and it has, coincidentally, a looking glass there, as you can see, right above a fireplace. That is our portal that's going to take us over to Wonderland. And this is where that portal is going to let us out. So we're going to go ahead and click on Go here. As you can see, this portal is a little more fantasy, right? A little more fantastical. We've got some mushrooms growing here, some lovely flowers growing around it. It has the appearance and the feel of a bit of a ruin, but a charming fairy tale ruin that, you know, you're attracted to and you're enticed by to get you over to a sort of fairy tale land, fairy tale area. We're going to send Grant over here, and we're going to try to, okay, we're going to follow Grant here as he makes his way. I think we're going to. Let me click on him again. Can we get up there to you, Grant? There we go. As he makes his way to the conservatory and then back to Wonderland, there's a few of our butterflies got out. There he goes. Okay, so that's how he goes from there to there. I don't know why he stopped there when he entered the conservatory, and I don't know what that stilted walk was about. I don't keep track of all of the different glitches any longer in The Sims 4. Let's go over here, Grant. Now, you have a little seating area as you come in here. I did put kind of a toy box there. There's nothing in it, I don't think. In theory, I might try putting some toys in it, and then kids could sit here and play. Might be why you set at this table. I might put a tea set here. There's a rabbit spawner, of course. I've got several rabbit spawners in this area, so the little guys will hop around. And a wishing well. So if you want to risk your luck, risk your health, take your chances, a wishing well is there to do that as well. Now let's have Grant come over here to the kind of garden, kind of the Queen of Hearts garden here at our Wonderland section. This is our Wonderland section. I really wish it wasn't raining. It rains all the time. I even set MC Command Center to sunny, and it didn't work. So I guess MC Command Center either needs to be updated or doesn't work anymore. And it's not working here. It's raining. It always rains. Now, we're going to have Grant, now that he's in the garden, we're going to walk over here first. We'll take a look at this part of the section first. Kind of zoom in here and go along with him. This is the gate to Mysterious Island. So this is the gate that you would pass through if you were just walking from either this section to here or here to that section. Once you enter this particular area, we do have a restroom. Here's our restroom for this particular section. A nice place to kind of sit down and rest over here while you're waiting for people in the restroom, right? And then even more fun, we have a seance table. Victorians were somewhat fascinated. I need to turn off autonomy because Grant just changed into his swimsuit for some reason and took off to go play video games. So we're going to bring him back over, and I am going to turn off autonomy. Well, him come over here and give us a little commune with the departed. Where is he? I wonder. What's he doing? There he is. Okay. He probably finally changed to his swim trunks because everything is covered in water. Contact the spirits and tell them to make it sunny, Grant. While he's busy with that, Victorians we're kind of into seances and communing with the spirits. It's kind of a fad with them, you know, kind of a little thing they were into. Back over here, we do have a place you can get some food. This acts as kind of our food area. Now you have to pay over here, but you know, you can serve a huge meal if you want. There's some places to eat back over here. This side, this ties a little bit into the Cheshire Cat. We have a bubble machine, right? A little hookah machine here. More of the adult area of the parks while the kids are busy making souvenirs, making friendship bracelets and pressed flower souvenirs. The adults can sit over there for a little relaxation time, right? Little me time, little something to get you through the rest of this park. I put in a small kind of temple here. Again, it's a little bit of an English thing to me in my head that they oftentimes in English gardens, like on estates, you would find a sort of folly, as they would call it, which would be a sort of architectural trifle, right? Doesn't really have a purpose. It's just to look at. It's just a novelty. So that's kind of our nod to that here with Wonderland. There is a little bit of a hidden area back here. We've got Patchy. Patchy really doesn't have anything to do with Wonderland, but I thought he was a really cute character to put into this particular area. You can come back here and talk to him. He's hanging out with the rabbit spawner, another rabbit spawner. That there was a little black rabbit here for a little bit. I don't know where he went. He's hopped off. Maybe he's taken off somewhere. Off he's gone to explore the rest of the park. Now, back here's where we have, let's go here, our portal. This is our portal that's going to take us to, again, our sort of ride, right? Our ride to a different part of the park, a different place to go to. As you can probably guess, this is the portal to the Magic Realm. And yes, as you can probably also guess, it works. Grant is headed off to the Magical Realm. So we're going to go through the portal. We're going to go to the Magical Realm. Okay, now this is my magical portal, of course. I rebuilt the Magical Realm. We'll pull it up here where we can see the entire thing. I rebuilt the Magical Realm, and you can just move around here just like you would under normal circumstances, as though you came here from Glimmerbrook. If you don't want to pay someone to man the stalls within the theme park, you can go over here to the village and do souvenir shopping there, of course. You can also access the ruins of the conservatory or go to the, the sort of battleground over here. Let me see. Let's go up this way. Go to the sort of, there we go, sort of the battleground, back over there. And if you want to, no other theme park in the world does this, you can become a real wizard or witch here at the spellcaster here at the Magical HQ. So that's the other thing you can kind of do as part of your trip to the Eternal Imperium theme park. Come over here, check out the Magical Realm, and become a real wizard before you head home. Now, when it's time to go home, of course, the portal here will just take you back to Glimmerbrook, which is fine. Maybe you want to go to Glimmerbrook next. That's okay. But we're going to just use our phone. We're going to use our phone. It works in this particular area. We'll bring Hooper with us. I think somehow he's stuck with us, and I haven't gone home yet just to drop him off. So we're going to bring Hooper with us. Sure, why not? Why not? Stop crying. That's probably what it was. He was crying so much we couldn't bear to leave him. So we're going to go back here directly to the theme park from Realm of Magic, or from the Magical Realm. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put Grant back into his proper outfit here. Let's see, we'll change his outfit to, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that outfit. We'll see how long he stays in it this time. Now, for the last part of this park, we'll go see New Atlantis, the steampunk part of the park, and then we'll leave New Atlantis and we'll go to the Steampunk Hotel to take a quick look at it as the final part of this tour. Okay, now in order to get to New Atlantis, you have to go through this sort of, I keep calling it Oddfellows Hall. It's sort of a organization, a membership dedicated to inventors, right? Victorian era inventors, the Victorian era sort of leftover image of the lone inventor creating this life-changing sort of device in his garage, right? Or in his workshop. Sort of like the Time Machine. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells got this tinkerer out in his workshop. He actually invents a machine capable of traveling through time. So that's what this is basically for, this particular organization. Now, the building itself is a mirror image. So on one side of the building, we are in 1890s Victorian England, or Victorian England. Yeah, Victorian England. London, maybe, right? On the other side, when we transfer over through these magical portals. We are in some far-flung steampunk future, some far-flung idea of the future from a Victorian standpoint. Now, we're going to have Grant come over here. He is going to go through the portal, and he is going to take us to New Atlantis. And he's going to walk up to our first portal, and he goes, out he comes. Now, these particular portals, of course, use the same mechanism. I tried to interject a little bit of machinery, the idea being that some adventurer in the Victorian age found these portals maybe at some ruins, some site, some faraway exotic land, and he brings it back, and he uses the power of steam, the power of industrial mechanics to reactivate it, kind of bring it back to life. And it opens up to its counterpart in the future, and they're connected together, right? So Grant is going to come out here to this world, to New Atlantis. We'll go up here a bit. New Atlantis is a pretty good size section of the park. The one thing I don't like, the one thing that did not work out, was the rocket ship. You can build the rocket ship and then you can use it here, and it's the steampunk version of the rocket ship. So you can build it and you can use it, and it'll last as long as you don't change the park after that point, as long as you don't demolish it, put something, put it back in its place. When I demolished the park and then replaced it to make sure everything came in like it's supposed to when you download it and place it on the map, the rocket ship, of course, disappeared. So it has to be rebuilt. You don't have to do it. I think it looks really cool as an aesthetic device because it is very steampunk looking. And then it's an okay sort of rabbit hole adventure if you like those sort of things. There's another opportunity for that here in New Atlantis for a rabbit hole adventure. There's also a portal here in New Atlantis. So you don't really have to have this, but I enjoyed it while it was there. I enjoyed the way it looked. Now, this particular area here, right off the front of our mirror image building, our Oddfellows Hall, it leads to a sort of sidewalk cafe, a little sidewalk cafe. These are television sets, which I thought were a good idea, and I'm back and forth on it. Right now, they're fine, right? Because you don't have like literally 12 Sims lined up watching television mindlessly. I've seen that a couple of times happen, and I've thought I'm taking those out, right? But I do like the way they look here, and I do kind of like the idea that in the future, in this steampunk future, you would go to a little sidewalk cafe, and there'd be like a magical screen, right? A magical screen that would show you other places and other people and other things. And it's in this sort of Victorian frame like they would do. Like you can imagine people in the future, the steampunk future, like to embellish things. They like to layer design elements on top of things so that it's pleasing. It's pleasing to the eye, right? This cafe is going to be here in this building. We'll have Grant come over here and take a look at our little cafe. Now, of course, I had to make this cafe because this is the most steampunk looking thing in this game. It is our cupcake machine. And yes, your sim can make pastries with this machine. We're going to do some donut holes. And I think they're free. I think it was free of charge to do this. Let's see if he gets charged. But this is a place where you could eat for free. There's a couple of places you can make drinks. We would have to pay for the drinks. Let's see. Yeah, we'd have to pay for the drinks, but they are here. And then we have this particular tea set. Also, we have to pay for the tea set, but it's just a kind of standard price that you pay for tea. You don't have to hire a vendor first. And honestly, $100 for tea sounds expensive if you've never been to Disney World. And if you've been to Disney World, $100 for tea for like 6 glasses, that's cheap. That's cheap. And no tipping. No tipping, you guys. Now, there's a little bit self-serve, so there shouldn't be a tip. But still cheap. Still cheap compared to American theme parks. I put in a couple of tarot cards in this particular section. Tarot cards, again, were somewhat popular in the Victorian age, and this idea of telling the future. And I put them here, of course, in New Atlantis, because New Atlantis is in the future. This is where you come to see and experience the future. A future where a machine can magically generate your donut holes out of thin air, right? Out of thin air. And I don't think he paid anything for those. So hooray, hooray. Rounding out this particular shop is an organ here in the corner. If you want to play a few tunes, I think I've checked this out already and it works. It does. Yeah, he's heading over there to use it. I really like this room. This room strikes me as probably the most steampunk room, and the little sidewalk cafe that it goes along with it, as of maybe the entire build. But we're not going to stay there. We're going to go over here real quick and we're going to take a look at the Imperial Astronomics Corporation. These people hold the monopoly on rocket travel, on rocket ship travel, on rocket ship technology. That's why there was a rocket ship right next to it. They are, of course, as a consequence, the wealthiest company in the world, in the future Victorian world. It's why their buildings are gilded, gilded, layered with gold, sparkling white, brand new, because they have more money than God, right? More money than God. We're going to have Grant go up here and cross our little bridge. We'll have him go over here to the bridge to a sort of secret area across in the older building. Now he's going to go through the Imperial Astronomics building here. The room he's passing through has those video game systems. If you want to have your Sims do a little video gaming while they're here, that's another activity you can do here in New Atlantis. The third thing you can do, aside from going to the cafe, there's also a bathroom here in New Atlantis as well, of course. Every section has a bathroom. But a third thing you can do is coming up across this bridge, this sort of air bridge, connecting these two buildings together through this sort of smoky, misty haze into this mysterious room with the burned out painting of, is that like Princess Cordelia or something, right? Let's have him view it. See what he thinks of it. So he totally digs it. He loves it. There you go, Grant. Pretty cool, huh? But it's a mysterious burned up painting. And what's here behind it? Mysterious portal that leads to underground tunnels. So this, of course, is the rabbit hole, or one of the rabbit holes from Werewolves. So it's kind of our rabbit hole adventure, which is why if you don't want to build the rocket ship, this is fine. Just use this as kind of a rabbit hole adventure. Or, do both, right? Grant here is going to take a deep breath and make his way underground. Off he goes. I haven't done very much of this. I don't really like rabbit hole adventures that much, and I didn't use the rocket ship for rabbit hole adventures very much either. I think I sent Grant and his husband up into space to woohoo for a while. That was about it. That's about all I used it for. Now, the next thing we're going to look at after the bathrooms are over here in this sort of old looking building, but it's a weird sort of, it's got these stained glass windows, but a lot of industrial vibe. And again, this sort of steampunk idea of embellishing even machinery with a sort of gilded frame to dress it up. This is where the bathrooms are. I really do like this building. It was super small. It was almost just a facade, just a look. But I thought, hey, we could put bathrooms in here. So we've got 4 different stalls for the bathroom and 2 sinks. It is a unisex bathroom. That's how I think bathrooms should just be. That would kind of end the fight about bathrooms here in the United States. Just make them all unisex, and for God's sakes, make a stall that goes all the way to the ground and all the way to the ceiling so you can't see in, and we can all be happy, right? So that's what I do in pretty much all of my builds, is all the bathrooms are unisex, and they're unisex here as well. But we're not here for bathrooms. We are here for our portal. Let's get down here. This is our portal here in this particular building. We're going to go in here. Now, if you have Get to Work, the very first expansion pack for The Sims 4, then you probably recognize this device. This is the portal to 6M. What better to find in the old Imperial Astronomics building across from the new one, but leftover machinery that will take you to 6 a.m. without even using a rocket, right? So we're going to click on this. This will take us actually real quick because we're almost done here with the theme park. We've got a few kind of things back here in the back, some junk. There is a table, though, you can kind of tinker around with back here. You know, you can do some like fizzing, fizz up the juice, right? Fizz up the, I guess it is just juice, the nectar. That's the word I'm looking for. Fizz up the nectar. Make yourself some champagne back here in the back alley. That's back there in the back. And then this is our steampunk airship waiting room. It is the same waiting room that we had at the, or that we will have coming up at the hotel, the Steampunk Hotel. So you'll recognize it when we get there. But there's one here as well. The idea being that this is the waypoint between Wonderland and New Atlantis. I had thought about going ahead and actually attaching a lighthouse to it here with the ship from the hotel. In the end, I decided it was a little bit superfluous. It really wasn't needed here. I've been back and forth on that decision, but I'm pretty much set with it now. Although, in theory, I could put the, you know, the lighthouse right here with the airship, or with the airship above it, you know, connected to it, and just not make it accessible. It's accessible at the hotel, but we could make it just decorative here. I don't know. I probably will not do that. I don't see any real reason to. Aside from that, you know, there's several kayaks here in New Atlantis if you want to grab a kayak and go around, you know, the different sections of the park. And I think that is about it. Oh, if you want to try to change the weather, I wonder if this would work. Change the current weather. I'm going to change it to clear skies. Let me try that real quick. I've been trying to get rid of the rain forever. And like I said, MC Command Center didn't work. Tried it a couple of times now. Does not work. Just continues to rain. It's never sunny. So let's have Grant here zap the skies with the weather machine, which also has a really great steampunk vibe, right? Really great steampunk homemade in your closet, in your shop type of vibe. Come on, Grant. I'm going to speed him up a little bit. Let's get this going. Hopefully he doesn't electrocute himself. I don't think that I have... You know, I don't think I fully upgraded this. Maybe. Did it work? It looks like it worked. Yay! He's suitably, sort of maniacal there. He changed it to clear skies. Now, that better be telling the truth. That's all I can say. You better be telling the truth. So, hopefully it will just be, when we get back from 6 a.m., I'm hoping it will be sunny. That's my big hope. So let's have him go over here. Let's get us to travel to the alien world. Not with Hooper this time. Well, let's take him. He wants to see an alien world. Why not? It hasn't really been that much of a hassle. I mean, has it? I mean, we're just carry the poor little guy. Once we get there. That telescope there was originally at the top of the pagoda, the tower at Mysterious Island. And I thought it'd be really cool. You'd climb to the top of the tower and then use a telescope, to look up in the sky. It would not work indoors. So I ended up just taking it out and I put it there in the middle of the plaza. It's not going to stay there. That'll probably be gone by the time this gets uploaded. Okay, so he's out to embark on a dangerous journey. Yes, we are ready. Let's take a leap of faith. Let's go off to 6 a.m. You can see there our portal has opened up. Looks like an eye in the middle of it. And there goes Grant, the bravest man in the world, headed off to who knows where. Well, we know where. To 6 a.m. to check out the new alien planet. Little bit of history. I didn't buy The Sims 4 until Get to Work came out. I didn't like it when it first came out. It was missing a lot of stuff. There was a lot of controversy about it. They wouldn't let any of the reviewers review it in advance, right? They had to wait till it came out. So I wouldn't even buy it. Now, when Get to Work came out, Outdoor Retreat came out, I was a little bit encouraged and I thought about it, but I still didn't do it. When Get to Work came out, I found out really quick you could go to 6am, right? You could travel to this alien planet. Oh, I bought it the same day. I bought the base game, I bought Get to Work, and I bought Outdoor Retreat the same day. Now, it was expensive to buy all three things at once, but I do think all three things made a really good base game. It made a really good base game. So I was pretty happy, and I've really enjoyed The Sims 4 since that point. Having all of those all at once really did make the difference. I had a ton of stuff to do. Seemed really cool. Seemed a lot more full of stuff, right? So now once I got to 6am, I was a little disappointed because there wasn't much here. But you could walk around. Your sim can walk around, can find some souvenirs, right? Can find some things to take home with you. And I do think in my particular game, eventually I'm going to come here, build something on the little pad that we have to work with. There is not much of a pad here. Let's see. I think there's a 20 by 20. Yeah, must be about 20 by 20 grid. So not too bad, not too small, not too big. So we'll probably build something here. I would swear early on it was smaller. I would swear early on it was smaller than this, and that maybe they've enlarged it. But that may just be my memory. But I thought it was really little, like little. But yeah, 20 by 20 is not bad. So I'll probably put something here where they can hang out, eat, drink, do something to do, with 6am. I don't know. But for now, if you don't do that, you can collect some crystals and I don't know what all they have. Fruit. Just a fruit tree or something, right? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I haven't really gone to 6am very much because, it's kind of like I said, there was nothing here. But it's cool looking. It is cool looking. It's a super cool looking world. In fact, it's almost a waste. It's such a beautiful place. It's gorgeous, right? It's a really gorgeous, gorgeous world. I love it. I do love it. And I would love for them someday to do, they don't do game packs anymore. I think those are dead in the water. But, if they did even an expansion pack that goes to 6am, you don't really have to go through here. It's just another way to get there. And you go to the city back over there, right? The city of 6am. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Now, for now, the only way we can get away from here is to go through this portal, and the portal only takes us home. So that's just kind of our only option. I don't think, there's no phone service in this area, so we can't use our phone here. We can only go home with our dog, with our cat, with our baby, and that's where we're going to do. We're going to go home, and then we're going to head over to the steampunk, what's it called? Aetheria Worldport, something like that. We'll see when we get there. I can't remember exactly what I named it. Something along those lines. It was the only hotel I actually gave a name to, that was different than the section that it was tied to at the theme park. Although really, I guess I could have called it the New Atlantis Hotel. I could call it that. Okay, and here we are. We are at the Aetheria Worldport. Now, it's called Worldport, of course, because it acts as a sort of airport. It is an airship port because this is steampunk. And what they've done here in this particular community of New Atlantis, right, is they took the old lighthouse and they converted it to a mooring post, a mooring station for airships coming in from other parts of the world for people wanting to vacation here at New Atlantis. And like a lot of airports, it has a hotel connected to it. And they've connected that to the old lighthouse keeper's home, which is a fairly large house. But there's hotel rooms in both places. And you can have your sim actually go up to the top of the lighthouse here. They will go out here to this little kind of viewing platform. And if you want them to, they'll cross over to the airship. Now, there's not much on the airship. It's pretty small. But we have a setup of chairs where you can kind of sit, maybe take a picture. I don't know. It is kind of a theme park hotel, so probably take a picture that you can buy later, right? And then we've got kind of a captain's chair there, kind of a pretend captain's chair. I did set up a little fireplace up here. And when you turn on a fireplace anywhere on the lot, smoke will come out of this. It comes out of all the chimneys. So it gives that sort of steampunk effect, you know, of the smoke pouring out of these smokestacks to drive all the machinery that's running the airship, running the airport. The airport has, we'll have to go through build mode because this is set. We're here, but we have not rented it for vacation, so we'll have to go through build mode. Okay, the hotel here has 3 guest rooms that are kind of steampunk guest rooms. We have 2 singles over here, or single rooms, I would call it, not a suite. It has a double bed, of course, and its own private bath. This container does work for Sims. They'll walk into this and shower. The shower is right there, and they'll walk into it and they'll take a shower in there. So it's a neat little kind of futuristic effect, you know, this sort of maybe a sonic bubble capsule, cleaning capsule or something. So that's kind of our bathroom. Over here we have our steampunk suite. It has a web bar, nice place to get some rest, and a sort of workstation back over here. This is our airship port, right? Our airport, our waiting room. It's back over here. It is connected to the lighthouse directly. You can't see your Sims, but like I said, they will go up through the lighthouse and they will come up here and stand on this platform if you want them to, and cross over to the airship. This is basically the lobby of the hotel. This is a place where if you use the Suite Life mod, it comes with a very simple bell, which is your user interface for most of the commands for the hotel. It goes here on the desk, and when the hotel is open, this is where your concierge will come and wait, and where your Sims will come to check in to the hotel. On this side, the old home side, we have another suite. I think of this naturally as the family suite because we've got a place out here for 2 kids to sleep, toddler and a child, again, because I have a toddler and a child in my family. And then for the adults in this room here. There's also a bathroom here that has been updated a little bit over the years. It's not heavy steampunk, but you can see some of the different mechanics they brought in to provide hot water, right? Provide hot, refreshing water, plumbing, a toilet that flushes, stuff like that. Now, downstairs on the first floor, we've got our kitchen back here. We have the dining room. The dining room is set up as though this is a guest house. So there are a couple of different tables to eat at. Again, with the Suite Life mod, you can have your Sims come sit here at the table and order from a menu, and then the kitchen staff will bring it out to them, just like you're in a restaurant. There's a place, though, to grab a quick drink, hang out around the fireplace. You can make some tea here. Typical sort of setup that we've had so far. The kitchen, I went a little bit heavier on the steampunk idea, a sort of retrofitted space, an old sort of kitchen from the days when this was a lighthouse that has been retrofitted here and here, right? Retrofitted all over the kitchen, retrofitted over here. As times have marched on, they've added things to keep, you know, like the stove going, the boiler going, stuff like that. Now, as part of the aesthetic sort of lore of the place, this is just for looks. It's just a sort of story, a backstory. Over here, we have a sort of retention pond of sorts. This water, this green, glowing, murky water, this is kind of the wastewater from the airships. So when they moor up on the lighthouse, they can deposit the old kind of water that's already gone through the boilers. It's, you know, it turned into steam, and the steam condenses off of the machinery, and it's oily and it's toxic, and they dump it. They dump it here into this holding pool. But because this is the steampunk future, there is a piece of miracle machinery here at the dam that cleans the water. When it's active, of course, these fountains spit the water, spill the water back out here to the clean pool, right? To the clean pool where it is clean and fresh and drinkable, completely potable. And the idea in my head, of course, would be that, under the ground and through these rocks. And I might put a pipe there or something maybe to indicate that the water is pulled back up to the airship fresh and clean to be used again. So that's kind of what this sort of little, again, a sort of aesthetic lore, sort of aesthetic backstory, something that is put there just to indicate that this is sort of the future. This is a futuristic place. And they've got, this strange machinery that we don't understand hard at work, right? Hard at work at the Worldport, taking care of the airships, taking care of travelers. Now, that pretty much does it. We're going to see a selection here at the end, a selection of photographs of all three of the hotel builds and the theme park build, selection of photos. All three builds, all three hotels and the theme park, 4 builds, are on the gallery, linked below in the description. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. Coming soon, coming very soon. It's already done. It's already in standby on YouTube. It's already, uploaded. Is the gentrification series where we're going to go through and bring gentrification to some of the worst parts of the Sims world. Each home that we tackle will be a 2-part process. So the first one will be a starter priced home where your Sims can live starting out. The second one will be the true long-term gentrification, how it normally happens, where a neighborhood, you get a few brave souls come in, start to turn the neighborhood around, right? They go there because housing is a little bit cheaper and they like the location. They like the way they were built in that era. So they move in, they're fixing things up. That's the first stage. That's the starter home stage. Then we move to our second stage. Second video for each of the structures will be full gentrification, where price is no object, right? Where the second wave of professionals come in, usually wealthy professionals or upper income professionals come into the neighborhood and they're like, wow, they made this place really nice. Let's buy it up. So they move in, they maybe remodel again, make it even more expensive, more upscale, more gentrified. That's step 2. It's a full gentrification process. So we'll see a house go from the original Maxis build to my idea of the starter, or whatever property we're dealing with, mostly starters, to my idea of what the full gentrification of the property in a completely gentrified neighborhood would be like. So please hit like, subscribe, and notify so you don't miss that coming up through January and February and into the future. And in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching.